Welcome to another deep dive. You've sent over a ton of stuff about the Anunnaki.
Oh, yeah.
Those mysterious figures from Sumerian myth.
Right.
Are they just legends?
Hmm.
Or could there be something more
Yeah.
to their story? We're about to find out.
Yeah, what's interesting is that the sources that you've provided definitely lean towards the
Oh, really?
something more side.
Okay.
Exploring this idea of the Anunnaki as ancient astronauts.
Uh-huh.
You know, and as we go through all of this, we should keep in mind
Yeah.
that famous Aristotle quote from one of your sources.
Okay.
It is the mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without accepting it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so first things first.
Right.
For anyone just joining us on this wild ride,
Yeah.
who exactly are the Anunnaki,
Yeah.
according to these ancient Sumerian tales?
Well, the term Anunnaki comes from ancient Sumeria,
Okay.
a civilization that thrived in Mesopotamia thousands of years ago.
Wow.
And the word itself translates to offspring of Anu,
Oh.
with An being their sky god.
Right.
So there's already this connection
Yeah,
between the heavens and the earth,
I like it.
baked right into their name.
Okay, so one of the sources you sent over was this video from Leifter Edu,
Right.
and they mentioned this author, Zachariah Sitchin,
Yeah.
who had some pretty interesting interpretations of
Yeah.
Sumerian texts.
Yeah.
What did he have to say about the Anunnaki?
Sitchin believed that the Anunnaki weren't just gods.
Okay.
They were advanced beings from another planet called Nibiru. And get this, he claimed that they came to Earth around 450,000 years ago.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
450,000 years ago?
Yes,
Humans weren't even around then.
that's right.
What did they need gold for?
Well, that's where things get really wild.
Okay.
Sitchin's theory is that Nibiru was facing an environmental crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Their atmosphere was deteriorating,
Oh,
and they believed that they could use gold to repair it.
what?
Imagine that an entire civilization traveling across the cosmos for gold.
Wow, so they just like popped over to Earth,
Whoa.
grabbed some gold, and headed back to Nibiru. I'm guessing it wasn't that simple.
No, you're right. It gets even more complicated.
Okay.
According to Sitchin, they needed a workforce to mine the gold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where humans come in.
Okay, so we're talking about like the creation of humankind.
The creation of humankind.
Like Adam and Eve,
Yeah.
the Garden of Eden.
Well, there are some interesting parallels there.
Okay.
Your sources mention a few different creation stories.
Right.
There's the ancient Mesopotamian poem Atrahasis,
Uh-huh.
which tells the story of gods creating humans from clay
Okay.
and a god's blood to relieve their own labor burdens.
So basically they were tired of digging for gold.
I guess you could say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah.
What about Sitchin's interpretation?
So Sitchin's theory is a bit more sci-fi.
Okay.
He suggests that the Anunnaki didn't create humans from scratch,
Okay.
but rather they genetically engineered existing hominids, possibly Homo erectus, to create Homo sapiens.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Are we saying that like our ability to have this conversation,
Uh-huh.
ponder the mysteries of the universe,
Yeah.
is all thanks to some ancient alien intervention?
It's a possibility, according to Sitchin.
That's a lot to process.
It is.
What evidence did Sitchin use to back this up?
Well, he pointed to linguistic connections.
Okay.
For example, the name of the first human created Adamu is linked to the Hebrew word Adama, meaning earth or clay, echoing that theme of humans being formed from the earth.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So these Anunnaki were more than just miners, they were genetic engineers?
that's right.
What kind of society did they have?
Yeah.
Was it just one big gold rush?
Not exactly. Sitchin paints a picture of a complex society
Okay.
with a hierarchical structure. Kings, royalty, even some good old-fashioned family drama.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, he identifies Anu as the king of the Anunnaki,
Okay.
but the real action unfolds between his two sons,
Okay.
Enki and Enlil.
Oh, sibling rivalry. Always a recipe for a good story.
That's right.
So who are these guys?
Okay.
And how did they factor into the Anunnaki's time on Earth?
So Enki was the god of wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and crafts a bit of a rebel,
Okay.
a tinkerer.
Uh-huh.
Think of him as the Anunnaki's chief scientist and engineer.
Okay.
And according to Sitchin, he was the one who spearheaded the genetic manipulation project.
So he was like the
Yes.
Dr. Frankenstein
You could say that.
of the Anunnaki.
Yeah.
What about Enlil? What was his deal?
Enlil was a stricter, more authoritarian figure,
Okay.
all about order and following the rules.
Uh-huh.
You could say he was more a hardliner
Right.
when it came to humanity.
So we've got the wise, rebellious scientist and the strict law enforcing leader,
Yes.
Classic archetypes.
Exactly.
I'm guessing their clashing personalities
Yeah.
led to some interesting conflicts.
You guessed it. Their rivalry supposedly had a huge impact on both Anunnaki and human history,
Okay.
influencing everything from the development of civilization to the Great Flood.
Oh.
But before we get to that,
Yes.
what did these Anunnaki actually look like?
Yeah, I'm dying to know
Okay.
what these so-called ancient astronauts look like.
All right.
Spill the tea.
So think bigger.
Okay.
They were described as giants, somewhere between 10 to 16 feet tall,
What?
with elongated skulls,
Okay.
piercing eyes, and elaborate attire.
Okay, so we're picturing a race of fashionable giants strutting around ancient Earth.
That's right.
What a sight that must have been.
Yeah.
But if they went through all this trouble to mine gold and create humans,
Right.
why did they eventually leave?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The sources that you provided suggest a few possibilities.
Okay.
First, Nibiru's atmosphere might have started to recover,
Uh-huh.
so they didn't need Earth's gold as desperately anymore.
So there was like, see you later, humans. Thanks for the gold.
Well,
Seems a little harsh after all that genetic engineering.
remember those sibling rivalries we talked about?
Yeah.
Enki and Enlil's conflict might have reached a breaking point,
Right.
causing internal strife among the Anunnaki.
So maybe Earth became a little too dramatic for them.
Possibly.
Family feuds can be messy, especially when you're dealing with giant space gods.
Yeah.
But did they really just abandon humanity completely?
Not quite.
Okay.
According to Sitchin, they transferred their power to human kings before they left,
Oh, okay.
setting up systems of divine rule.
So those impossibly long reigns of early kings recorded in the Sumerian king list,
Yeah.
are we talking Anunnaki bloodlines?
Yeah.
Or even Anunnaki human hybrids walking among us?
That's one interpretation.
Wow.
It's like they were saying, all right, humans, you're in charge now. Try not to destroy everything while we're gone.
Oh.
But this transfer of power sets the stage for one of the most well-known events in human history,
Uh-oh.
the Great Flood.
Okay.
Buckle up, because things are about to get biblical,
Okay. The Great Flood.
right?
Talk about a universal story. We see it everywhere, from the Sumerian tale of Ziusudra to the Babylonian account in the Epic of Gilgamesh
Right.
with Utnapishtim.
Yes.
And of course, who could forget Noah's Ark?
Of course.
But how does Sitchin connect the Anunnaki to this global catastrophe?
Well, Sitchin suggests that the Anunnaki were actually responsible for the flood,
Really?
or at least some faction of them.
Okay.
It's almost as if they got fed up with humanity and decided to hit the reset button.
Wow. Talk about a drastic measure?
Yeah.
But why would they regret it afterward? Seems a little late for second thoughts once you've flooded the entire planet.
Well, maybe they realized that wiping out their workforce wasn't the best long-term strategy.
Right.
Who would mine the gold if everyone was underwater?
Yeah, that's true.
According to Sitchin Enki, the Anunnaki, who engineered humans, couldn't bear to see his creation destroyed. So he warned a human named Ziusudra to build an ark
Oh, okay.
and save himself and some animals.
So Enki, the Anunnaki scientist and rebel, becomes the unexpected hero.
That's right.
That definitely adds another layer to the classic flood narrative.
It does.
But if they wanted to give humanity a second chance,
Right.
why shorten our lifespans? That seems a bit counterintuitive.
Sitchin suggests that the Anunnaki, perhaps as a compromise after causing the flood, decided to shorten human lifespans to control population growth
Okay.
and prevent things from getting out of hand again.
So those incredibly long lifespans mentioned in the Bible and the Sumerian king list, are we talking pre-flood humans with more Anunnaki DNA?
That's one interpretation.
And post-flood, we got a downgrade.
Yeah, you could say that.
That's a pretty wild concept.
It is.
It does make you wonder, though, if the Anunnaki were responsible for other major events in human history.
Yeah.
What about those incredible megalithic structures found around the world?
Yeah.
I mean, those pyramids weren't going to build themselves.
You've hit on another controversial aspect of the Anunnaki theory. Some researchers believe that the Anunnaki were master builders responsible for constructing pyramids and other megalithic structures around the world.
Wow.
They point to the sheer scale and precision of these structures
Right.
as evidence that ancient humans couldn't have accomplished such feats without advanced technology or outside help.
I have to admit,
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine how they moved those massive stones and aligned them with such accuracy
Right.
without some seriously impressive engineering skills.
Exactly.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, with its perfect alignment to the cardinal directions, it's mind-boggling.
And it's not just the pyramids in Egypt.
Right.
Your sources mention other mysterious sites, like the Sphinx, the city of Teotihuacan in Mexico, and the Great Pyramid of Cholula. All of these structures seem to point toward a level of knowledge and technological capability.
Right.
That's hard to explain with conventional archaeological theories.
It's like someone or something gave ancient humans a helping hand.
Yeah, that's the idea.
But if the Anunnaki left their fingerprints on these massive structures,
Right.
did they leave any other clues behind? Maybe smaller artifacts that could shed light on their presence?
Let's take a look at some of the artifacts that have sparked debate among Anunnaki enthusiasts.
Okay.
One example is the Ubaid figurines, these strange little humanoid figures with large almond-shaped eyes, discovered in ancient Mesopotamia. Some people believe they resemble the descriptions of the Anunnaki.
Ooh, those figurines are definitely creepy. Those eyes are staring right through me.
I know.
What else do we have?
Then there are the enigmatic Nazca lines in Peru, those massive geoglyphs etched into the desert floor
Right.
that depict animals, plants, and geometric patterns.
Yeah.
Some researchers believe they were created as landing strips or signals for Anunnaki spacecraft.
Wait, ancient alien runways? Now,
Yeah.
that's a theory I can get behind.
Yeah.
But if these artifacts suggest an Anunnaki presence, are there any similar threads in the myths and legends of other cultures?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Your sources point to some fascinating parallels between Anunnaki myths and stories from ancient Egypt.
Oh, really? Like what?
For example, the Egyptian sun god Ra, a creator deity, shares many similarities with Anu, the Anunnaki king of the gods.
So it's like we're seeing echoes of the Anunnaki story in different cultures around the world.
That's the idea.
Are there any specific Egyptian gods that match up with Enki and Enlil? I'm curious to see how those archetypes translate into Egyptian mythology.
Well, if we consider Enlil's role as a strict law-enforcing figure, his Egyptian counterpart might be Shu, the god of air, who separates the sky from the earth,
Right.
enforcing order in the cosmos.
Okay.
As for Enki, the wise scientist and rebel,
Yeah.
his counterpart could be Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, writing, and magic, who's often depicted as a bit of a trickster figure.
I'm loving these mythological connections.
Yeah.
It's like piecing together a giant puzzle with pieces scattered across different cultures.
Right. But what about the Bible? Does the Anunnaki theory shed any light on those stories?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Some researchers believe that certain biblical passages, when viewed through the lens of the Anunnaki theory, might actually describe encounters with extraterrestrials or advanced technology.
Okay, now I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Give me an example. Which biblical stories are we talking about?
Well, one example is Ezekiel's vision of a wheel within a wheel, often interpreted as a chariot of fire.
Right.
Some people believe it could be a description of an Anunnaki spacecraft.
Wow.
Then there's the story of Elijah being taken up to heaven in a whirlwind.
Oh, yeah.
Could that be another encounter with advanced technology?
Whoa. Those stories definitely take on a whole new meaning when you consider the possibility of ancient astronauts.
They do.
But if the Anunnaki were so technologically advanced,
Yeah.
where did all their amazing tech go? Did they pack it up and take it with them when they left? Some theorists believe that the Anunnaki possessed knowledge of incredible things.
Like what?
Free energy,
Okay.
teleportation, even time manipulation.
Wow.
But this knowledge was either lost over time, perhaps due to cataclysmic events like the flood, or deliberately hidden from humanity for reasons we can only speculate about.
So we could be sitting on a treasure trove of lost Anunnaki technology just waiting to be rediscovered.
It's possible.
Now that's a thought that gets my explorer's heart racing.
Yeah.
Any ideas where we should start looking?
Well, your sources point to a few intriguing possibilities.
Okay.
One of them is Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's so special about that giant icebox?
It might seem like a barren wasteland, but Antarctica has always been shrouded in mystery.
Okay.
There are old maps that seem to depict it with astonishing accuracy, centuries before its official discovery. And some people believe it could be hiding ancient Anunnaki ruins beneath its icy surface.
Wait.
Imagine an entire lost civilization buried under miles of ice.
That's incredible.
It is. It's like something straight out of a science fiction novel.
It is.
But if the Anunnaki left Earth,
Yeah.
Why would they choose such a remote and inhospitable place to hide their secrets?
That's a great question. Perhaps they wanted to preserve their knowledge and technology for future generations. Or maybe they needed a safe haven from some unknown threat. We can only speculate, but the mystery of Antarctica is definitely one that's worth exploring further.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Antarctica is officially on my bucket list now.
Okay.
But what about the possibility that the Anunnaki never actually left? What if they're still here, hidden among us?
That brings us to the intriguing theory of cryptoterrestrials.
Okay.
Some people believe that the Anunnaki didn't just visit Earth, they integrated themselves into human society, living in secret for millennia.
Wow.
Possibly even influencing events behind the scenes.
Wait, so you're saying that some of our neighbors could be ancient aliens in disguise?
That's the idea.
That's both mind-blowing and a little terrifying.
It is, but how would they stay hidden for so long?
It's a challenging concept to grasp.
Right.
But imagine a group of beings with advanced technology, capable of manipulating perception and blending seamlessly into their surroundings.
Okay.
They could be living right under our noses, observing humanity, maybe even guiding our development in subtle ways.
Okay, now I'm looking at everyone with a little more suspicion.
Yeah.
But wouldn't there be some evidence of their presence?
Right.
Some slip-ups? Some leaks?
Well, some people believe that UFO sightings could be attributed to cryptoterrestrial activity.
Okay.
What if those unidentified flying objects aren't visitors from another planet, but rather the Anunnaki still keeping an eye on their creation?
Now that's a theory that would explain a lot of those strange lights in the sky.
It would.
So we've got potential Anunnaki ruins buried in Antarctica.
Yes.
Possible cryptoterrestrials living among us, buzzing around in their UFOs.
Right.
Is there anything else these ancient astronauts might have left behind?
What about weapons?
Weapons.
Yeah.
It's not hard to imagine a civilization capable of interstellar travel developing some pretty impressive firepower.
Weapons. You're saying these ancient astronauts might have had like a
Yeah.
cosmic arsenal
Yeah.
at their disposal.
It's a possibility.
Now that's a thought that could keep you up at night.
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about.
So what kind of evidence are we talking about? Were there ancient laser battles going on?
Well, maybe not lasers, but
Right.
your sources point to some pretty interesting clues.
Okay.
Ancient texts mention me,
Okay.
divine powers that some interpret as representations of advanced technology,
Okay.
including weapons. There are also accounts of destructive events, like the evil wind in Sumerian mythology,
Okay.
that some believe could describe ancient weapons of mass destruction.
So these ancient stories might not just be myths,
Right.
but rather historical accounts of events we can't fully comprehend. It's like trying to describe a smartphone to someone living in the Stone Age.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
But let's shift gears for a second.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about the Anunnaki's presence on Earth,
Right.
but where did they come from?
Yeah.
Is there any scientific basis for Nibiru, their supposed home planet?
That's where things get really intriguing.
Okay.
While Nibiru itself remains a topic of debate,
Uh-huh.
there has been a lot of buzz in the scientific community
Oh, really?
about the possibility of a ninth planet
Okay.
in our solar system, often called Planet 9.
Planet 9?
Yeah.
Is that like Nibiru 2.0?
Well,
Could the Anunnaki be hanging out on a giant icy planet in our own solar system?
it's a possibility.
Really?
Astronomers have observed some strange gravitational anomalies in the outer solar system,
Okay.
suggesting the presence of a large undiscovered planet.
Uh-huh.
The evidence is still circumstantial,
Right.
but it's enough to keep scientists searching.
So the jury is still out on Planet 9, but the search continues.
That's right.
Now let's dive into something a little more mystical.
Okay.
What about those prophecies about the Anunnaki returning to Earth?
Yeah.
What kind of impact would that have on humanity?
Right.
Are we talking spaceships descending from the sky?
Yeah.
Or something a little more subtle?
Well, prophecies are always open to interpretation,
Right.
but they generally suggest that the Anunnaki's return would coincide with a period of great transformation for humanity,
Uh-huh.
possibly revealing hidden truths about our origins
Okay.
or setting us on a new course.
So it could be like a wake-up call for humanity.
Yeah,
A cosmic intervention of sorts.
it's one way to look at it.
Okay.
These prophecies are often tied to ideas of spiritual awakening,
Uh-huh.
a shift in consciousness,
Yeah.
or a reconnection with our cosmic heritage.
Right.
And it's worth noting that prophecies about extraterrestrial beings visiting Earth aren't limited to Sumerian texts.
Oh, really?
The Hopi tribe, for example,
Uh-huh.
has stories of star beings and star children. And the Dogon people of West Africa believe in the Nomos,
Okay.
amphibious beings from the Sirius star system.
It seems like these stories of extraterrestrial contact are woven into the fabric of many cultures around the world.
They are?
It's like a universal thread connecting us to the possibility of something greater than ourselves.
Right.
But let's be real for a moment.
Okay.
What does mainstream science have to say about all of this?
It's important to acknowledge
Yeah.
that despite the compelling nature of these theories,
Right.
mainstream science doesn't currently recognize any evidence to support the existence of the Anunnaki.
Okay.
Archaeologists, for example, tend to interpret ancient myths and artifacts through a different lens,
Okay.
focusing on cultural practices and human ingenuity
Right.
rather than extraterrestrial intervention.
So they're not ruling out the possibility,
Right.
but they're waiting for more concrete evidence.
Exactly.
What about those elongated skulls found in ancient burials? Those seem pretty out of this world, right?
While those elongated skulls are certainly intriguing,
Yeah.
scientists generally attribute them to cultural practices, like cranial deformation,
Okay.
where the skull is intentionally shaped during infancy.
Mm-hmm.
It was a practice found in various cultures throughout history,
Right.
often associated with beauty standards or social status.
So no alien skulls.
Yeah.
Just some interesting cultural practices.
Yeah.
But what about those massive pyramids?
Yeah.
How does mainstream science explain those feats of engineering
Right.
without invoking ancient astronauts?
Archaeologists believe that ancient civilizations like the Egyptians were incredibly skilled builders and mathematicians.
Okay.
They had a vast workforce,
Right.
knowledge of geometry, astronomy, and the ability to quarry and transport huge blocks of stone.
Wow.
They likely used a combination of ramps, levers, rollers, and other ingenious techniques to construct those monumental structures.
I can appreciate that explanation.
Yeah,
It's a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance.
it is.
But a part of me still wonders if there's more to the story. Maybe one day we'll uncover that smoking gun, that piece of irrefutable evidence
Right.
that rewrites history as we know it.
That's the beauty of exploring these mysteries. The possibility of discovery is always there.
Yeah.
Whether or not we ever find definitive proof of the Anunnaki,
Mm-hmm.
the act of questioning, researching, and keeping an open mind is a valuable exercise in itself.
Yeah.
It reminds us that there's still so much we don't know about our past, our present, and our place in the universe.
Well said. This deep dive into the world of the Anunnaki has been a wild ride,
It has.
full of twists and turns,
Yeah.
ancient mysteries, and
Yeah.
mind-boggling theories.
Absolutely.
We've explored everything from their supposed arrival on Earth to their potential role in creating humanity to the possibility that they might still be out there watching over us.
right.
It's enough to make you look at the world a little differently.
It is. It really makes you think.
So, dear listener, as you go about your day, maybe you'll look at the night sky with a renewed sense of awe,
Yeah.
wondering if we're truly alone in this vast universe. And who knows, maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to uncover the next clue, the missing piece of the puzzle that unlocks the secrets of the Anunnaki
Right.
and changes our understanding of history forever.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning,
Yes.
and keep that spark of curiosity alive.
And on that note, we'll wrap up this incredible deep dive into the world of the Anunnaki.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Until next time.